Breaking boundaries is an essential part of any sport, and this pursuit is directly tied to our personal progress. With years of intense training, our bodies grow stronger, and with each new challenge overcome, we want to push even further. The desire to lift heavier weights or set new records is what drives us. When we finally achieve a new personal best, the feeling is indescribable. However, between the dream of reaching the top and reality, there's a common obstacle that few can avoid: injuries. They're part of the journey, and how we handle these setbacks defines our path. In this video, we're going to explore the 10 worst injuries ever captured on camera, showing how even the greatest athletes face their limits in painful and challenging ways. But before we dive in, I need your help to keep this channel going and to keep bringing you this kind of content. If you enjoy my work and want to motivate me to create more videos, consider becoming a member. It makes a huge difference in allowing me to continue producing high-quality videos. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content. I've set a goal of reaching 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm counting on your support. Let's go! Scott Mendelson is a legend among powerlifters, especially in bench pressing. He made history by breaking world records without the use of any assistive equipment, with his most impressive feat being a 468 kilograms, 1,032 pounds, bench press. Achieving these extraordinary records, however, came at a high price. During one of his attempts to break the world record in this exercise, Scott suffered a severe pectoral tear. The injury was so intense that images of the incident quickly spread across the internet, shocking the powerlifting community. His torso turned completely purple from the massive damage, creating one of the most iconic and disturbing images ever captured of an injury in the sport. The photo went viral almost immediately, sparking heated debates in powerlifting forums, where athletes and enthusiasts discussed the risks involved in pushing extreme limits. That image of Scott Mendelson with his severely injured chest is still considered one of the most impactful representations of a muscle tear. The severity of the injury brought safety discussions in powerlifting competitions to the forefront, questioning how far the human body can be pushed without serious consequences. In a Reddit post, Mendelson revealed that recovering from this trauma took about a year. Most surprisingly, he chose not to undergo any surgery during this time, opting instead to let his body heal naturally, a slow, painful process that reflects his incredible resilience. Scott Mendelson's story is a testament to the extreme dedication and courage of athletes who strive to break unimaginable limits, but it also serves as a warning about the risks that come with these extraordinary feats. Even after this devastating injury, Mendelson continued to train and inspire other lifters, proving that despite adversity, the passion for the sport often outweighs even the greatest physical pain. In 1996, Ronnie Coleman faced one of the most challenging moments of his career when he suffered a serious injury during his grueling squat routine. That day, Coleman herniated a disc in his spine, an injury that for many would have marked the end of their journey in the sport. However, what made the situation even worse was his decision not to seek immediate medical attention, a choice that would forever change the course of his life and career. The impact of this injury was devastating, causing complications not only in his spine but also affecting key areas crucial for bodybuilding, such as his shoulders, hips, back, and neck. These regions were severely overworked by years of lifting monstrous weights, some of which exceeded an astonishing 300 kilograms, 660 pounds, during his training sessions. Despite the severity of his condition, Coleman continued training with the same insane intensity that had propelled him to the top of the bodybuilding world. The diagnosis of a herniated disc came shortly after the incident, but Ronnie, true to his relentless work ethic, didn't slow down. Continuing to train with absurdly heavy weights only worsened his condition, aggravating his injuries and causing irreversible damage. In addition to his spinal pain, he also faced complications in several other parts of his body that had already been pushed to the extreme over the years. This decision not to ease up, though it secured more victories, came at a tremendous cost to his physical health. This tragic episode ended up being a turning point in Coleman's life. 8 spinal surgeries later, and with chronic pain that still haunts him to this day, Ronnie's story serves as a brutal reminder of the sacrifices many elite athletes make to reach the pinnacle of their careers. He continued to compete and win, becoming a true legend in bodybuilding, but the physical and emotional toll was immense, showing that for many athletes, the line between success and sacrifice is incredibly thin. In February 2021, Ryan Crowley faced one of the worst injuries of his career while attempting to bench press 220 kilograms, 485 pounds, during a training session at a gym in Dubai. During the lift, his pectoral muscle completely tore from the bone, causing unbearable pain. The scene was shocking, and Crowley was immediately rushed to the hospital, where he was admitted for emergency surgery. The severity of the injury required a full pectoral reconstruction, as the tendon had completely detached from the bone. A complication made even more challenging due to the immense force involved in the lift. Since his insurance didn't cover medical expenses in Dubai, a fundraising page was quickly created to help cover the high costs of surgery. The response was overwhelming, and Crowley managed to raise over $38,000, which allowed him to undergo the operation and begin the long road to recovery. The surgeon in charge faced a complex challenge, as the tear was extensive and required meticulous work to restore the muscle to its original state. This injury not only highlighted the risks of training with extreme weights, but also showcased the solidarity of the fitness community, which rallied to support Crowley during his most difficult time. After the surgery, recovery was slow and painful, but Ryan showed incredible determination, sharing each step of his journey with his followers. Crowley's story serves as a reminder that no matter how prepared we are, the human body has its limits, and pushing beyond them can have devastating consequences. Callum Von Moger has accumulated a series of injuries throughout his career, and 2017 marked the beginning of an especially challenging period. During a workout with Chris Bumstead, they decided to attempt a simultaneous heavy barbell curl, a classic attempt to test their limits. As you might imagine, it didn't go well. On the first try, the bar barely moved. On the second attempt, disaster struck. Callum's left bicep tore. The pain was immediate, forcing him to drop the bar and step back. He quickly underwent surgery to repair the bicep tendon, beginning a long recovery process. While still recovering from this injury, Callum decided to travel to Australia, where he began experimenting with rock climbing. This search for adrenaline led to his second major misfortune. During a descent from a cliff, Callum slipped and lost his balance, resulting in a devastating fall. The impact was so severe that he ruptured the patellar tendon in his leg and, to make matters worse, suffered a partial tear in the same bicep that had just been operated on. It was a sequence of disastrous events that left him facing more physical challenges than he could have ever imagined, turning his recovery into a true battlefield. This period was marked by immense pain, physical limitations, and the need for additional surgeries. Yet, Callum continued to fight to return to the stage and the gym, showing admirable resilience. His journey of highs and lows is a clear example of how the road to recovery can be unpredictable and full of obstacles. What seemed to be the beginning of a long reign as Mr. Olympia for Franco Columbu took an unexpected and tragic turn in 1977. Columbu decided to participate in the inaugural World's Strongest Man competition, an event that pitted bodybuilders, powerlifters, and other athletes against each other in a series of extreme physical challenges. He and Lou Ferrigno represented the bodybuilding world, facing opponents from various disciplines in tests of strength and endurance. One of the most notable events was a weight-carrying race, where competitors had to carry refrigerators strapped to their backs. During this challenge, Franco suffered a devastating injury. His leg buckled under the weight, resulting in a severe knee rupture. Despite the seriousness of the injury, which forced him out of the competition, Franco Columbu astonishingly finished in 5th place, even without completing all the events. However, the outlook after the event was grim. The knee injury was severe, and many believed that his bodybuilding career was over. The accident sparked widespread discussion, with the general consensus being that Columbu, one of the most talented bodybuilders of his generation, would not be able to return to his peak. The blend of physical strength and charisma he displayed on stage seemed to have been melancholically cut short by this unexpected injury. However, Franco's story didn't end there. He defied all expectations, embarking on a long and painful recovery. What many considered impossible, he made a reality by returning to the stage and winning more titles, including the legendary Mr. Olympia in 1981. He proved that his determination and resilience were as impressive as his physical strength. This injury to Paul Jordan is one of those that sends chills down anyone's spine. As you can see in the video, Jordan was incredibly motivated to break his personal record during the World Championship in Australia in 1977. The goal was impressive: to squat with 345 kilograms, 760 pounds, a weight that only a few athletes in the world would dare attempt. However, the relentless pursuit of pushing his limits nearly cost him his life. What should have been a moment of glory quickly turned into an agonizing scene etched into the history of the sport. During the execution of the lift, Jordan's left knee suddenly gave out, bending grotesquely. At that point, the entire monstrous load on his back shifted to his right leg, which struggled desperately to hold the weight. The sight is harrowing, and the sound of the impact is enough to make anyone wince in pain just imagining it. The crowd watched in disbelief as Jordan screamed in agony, his body literally crushed by the weight he was trying to lift. This tragic moment not only ended Paul Jordan's competition, but also reignited discussions about the extreme risks involved in weightlifting, especially when it comes to such heavy loads. The footage circulated widely among athletes of the time and is still remembered as one of the most brutal injuries ever witnessed in a weightlifting competition. Despite the severity of the situation, Jordan survived, but the injury was devastating and drastically altered the course of his career. The incident serves as a brutal reminder that, in the world of high-performance sports, the line between victory and disaster is dangerously thin. Regilanio da Silva Inácio, a gym-goer from Juazeiro do Norte, Ceará, Brazil, experienced one of the most bizarre and tragic incidents imaginable within a gym. During his workout, he was sitting beneath a piece of gym equipment when, suddenly, the machine collapsed onto his shoulders and back. The impact was devastating. Regilanio, aged 42, was immediately rushed to Hospital Santo Antonio in nearby Barbalha, where he underwent emergency surgery to repair the severe damage caused by the accident. Despite the medical team's efforts, the final diagnosis was grim. Doctors indicated that Regilanio's chances of walking again were minimal, a heartbreaking prognosis for both him and his family. The severity of the injury shocked the local community, especially given the unexpected nature of the accident. It's hard to imagine that a routine gym visit to improve health could result in such a dramatic situation. Unfortunately, incidents like this highlight the importance of proper equipment maintenance and safety standards in gyms. Regilanio's case stirred significant emotion in the region and sparked discussions about the responsibility of gym facilities to ensure the safety of their patrons. The story quickly spread among bodybuilders and strength athletes, reinforcing the need for caution and vigilance when using any kind of gym equipment. While his physical recovery was a difficult and uncertain journey, Regilanio's resilience and the support of his community were crucial during such a challenging time. The image of Jean-Pierre Fux's injury is undoubtedly one of the most striking in the bodybuilding world. At 11:22 on a Thursday, May 2, 2022, everything was perfect in his life. Weighing around 127 kilograms, 280 pounds, he was in peak physical condition with high hopes of qualifying for the Mr. Olympia at the Night of Champions. However, just 1 minute later, at 11:23, fate took a tragic turn. During a training session at the iconic Gold's Gym in California, while performing squats with approximately 306 kilograms, 675 pounds, for a Flex magazine photo shoot, Fux suddenly collapsed, falling to the floor immobilized. The shocking moment was captured on camera, and the impact was devastating. Jean-Pierre couldn't move, and after being rushed to the hospital, he received a diagnosis that would change his career forever. He had suffered a rupture of the vastus medialis in his left thigh and a rupture of the patellar ligaments in his right leg. What should have been a day of triumph and celebration turned into a nightmare, with his dreams of competing in the Mr. Olympia shattered in a matter of seconds. This injury was not only physically devastating, but also emotionally crippling. Jean-Pierre Fux, who was at the pinnacle of his career and preparing for one of the most important competitions of his life, saw his entire future in the sport collapse. The image of him lying on the ground, unable to stand, is one of the most remembered and discussed in the bodybuilding community, serving as a brutal reminder of the extreme risks these athletes face when pushing the limits of the human body. Tommy Dolan, the Irish powerlifter, endured one of the most terrifying injuries ever witnessed in the world of weightlifting. During an attempt to squat 280 kilograms, 617 pounds, at the Irish National Weightlifting Championships, Dolan experienced a tragic moment that shocked the sporting community. Everything seemed to be going as expected as he lifted the colossal weight from the support structure, but what happened next was nothing short of a nightmare. As he prepared to begin the downward motion of the squat, his quadriceps abruptly gave way, completely tearing from the bone. The sight was agonizing. Dolan's body couldn't withstand the extreme load, and the injury was instantaneous and devastating. The pain and shock were evident as he collapsed under the weight, with no control over the muscles that had failed under pressure. This type of injury is rare, but when it happens, it often has severe and lasting consequences. In Dolan's case, the complete rupture of the quadriceps required surgical intervention and a long road to recovery. The footage of the injury quickly became one of the most discussed examples of the risks involved in lifting such extreme weights. Many athletes began to question the limits of the human body and the safety of extreme strength competitions after the incident. Tommy Dolan, a dedicated and disciplined athlete, saw his career temporarily halted by this injury, which tested not only his physical strength but also his mental fortitude. His determination to overcome the trauma and return to the sport is still admired by many in the powerlifting community. Sifiso Lungelo Thabethe, a promising South African bodybuilder, seemed destined for a bright future. At just 23, he had already won the title at a prestigious junior championship in Johannesburg, and his career was on the rise. However, what looked like the beginning of a promising journey was tragically cut short by a bizarre and fatal accident. During a competition in South Africa, Sifiso attempted a backflip, a move many bodybuilders perform to entertain the crowd. Unfortunately, he landed awkwardly, breaking his neck upon hitting the ground. The accident was instantly fatal, and the shocking scene was captured on video, quickly spreading across social media and causing a wave of grief. The impact of this accident was devastating for the bodybuilding world. Thabethe, who had the potential to become one of the sport's greats, tragically lost his life and career in an instant. His death sparked discussions about the need for additional caution and safety measures in competitions, especially when performing high-risk movements outside the traditional scope of bodybuilding presentations. The image of the accident has undoubtedly become one of the most heartbreaking moments in recent sports history, reminding everyone of the fragility of life, even for athletes at the peak of their physical condition. Now, I want to hear your opinion. Which of these injuries do you find the most agonizing and bizarre? Have you ever experienced something similar, or know someone who has suffered a serious injury? Drop your stories and thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And of course, don't forget to share this video with friends who need to see this content. Your like helps a lot in spreading the video, and it motivates me to keep bringing you more videos like this. I'm aiming to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm counting on your help to reach that goal. Let's go!